When we think about planning for retirement, we're all caught in this classic tug of war, right? On one side, you've got this need to grow your savings. I mean, you want a comfortable future. But on the other, there's that constant nagging fear of a market crash just wiping out years of your hard work. So, what if there was a financial tool designed to stand right in the middle of all that? Well, let's dive in and see.
So let me just ask you this straight up. What if you could tap into some of the market's upside, get some of that growth without risking your principal when the market takes a nosedive? It almost sounds a little too good to be true, doesn't it? Well, that's the core promise we're going to explore in this explainer, and we'll see if it really holds up.
And this really brings us to what we can call the retirement growth dilemma. Honestly, it's a challenge that pretty much anyone saving for the long term has to face at some point. And here it is, the heart of the matter. You know you need your money to work for you, to grow over time, but you're also painfully aware that markets can be, well, wild. And the closer you get to retirement, the bigger that fear of a major loss can feel. It's this universal feeling that's led to the creation of some very specific financial products. And that brings us right to our main event, the Fixed Indexed Annuity, or for short, an FIA. It's a product created by insurance companies, designed to be a potential answer to that exact conflict. Okay, so what exactly is it? An FIA is an insurance contract. The basic idea is you contribute money, and in return, the contract can credit you with interest based on how a market index, think something like the S&P 500, performs. Now, this is the most important part. Your money is not directly invested in the market. This little chart here just lays out the difference perfectly. When you're investing directly, your money is in the market. You're exposed to all the thrilling highs, but also all the gut-wrenching lows. Your principal is at risk. With a fixed-indexed annuity, your money is not in the market. The best analogy is that you have a ticket to watch the game instead of actually playing on the field. Your potential growth is simply linked to what happens in the game, while your principal is generally kept safe on the sidelines. So, to really get how this all works, we can break an FIA down into three core features. Let's call them the three pillars: protection, growth, and income. Let's take a look at each one. First up, principal protection. And for a lot of folks, this is the main event. It means the money you put into the annuity in the first place is generally shielded from market losses. So if the index that your annuity is linked to has a terrible year and goes down, your account value typically doesn't drop because of that market performance. Think of it as a foundational safety net for your savings. So pillar number 2 is that growth potential. While your principal is safe, you still get the chance to earn interest based on how that market index performs. So when the index does well, your annuity could be credited with interest, allowing your nest egg to grow. Okay, so a question probably just popped into your head, right? If there's no risk to my principal, what's the catch? There's got to be a trade-off on the growth side. And yeah, you're absolutely right. The growth potential is limited. That's the price of admission for the protection. And this is how they do it. Insurance companies use a few different levers to manage this trade-off. For instance, a cap is exactly what it sounds like. It's a ceiling on how much interest you can earn in a year. A participation rate determines what percentage of the index's gain you actually get credited. And a spread is basically a percentage that gets subtracted from the index's gain. These are the mechanisms that make the downside protection possible. Now, the third pillar is a really powerful one, especially once you're in retirement. It's the option to create a predictable stream of income that you literally cannot outlive. You can often add a feature, it's usually called a rider, to your contract, and this can turn your account value into something like your own personal pension. And as our source material points out, this feature directly tackles one of the single biggest fears in retirement, the fear of running out of money. I mean, having a guaranteed income stream can provide just a huge amount of peace of mind, working alongside other income like Social Security. So keeping those three pillars in mind, protection, growth, and income, how might an FIA actually fit into a real-world retirement strategy? Look, this isn't about a one-size-fits-all magic bullet, but it's about understanding the specific role a tool like this could play. So let's just recap what makes them attractive. At their core, they try to find that balance between growth and safety. Your principal is shielded, you still have the potential for growth, and they can create that reliable, lifetime income. For many people, they use them as a tool to diversify, adding a layer of predictability to their overall plan. But
And this is a really big but. You have to know what you're getting into. These are long-term products, not short-term investments. They almost always have surrender periods, which means you could face penalties if you pull your money out too early. You absolutely have to read the contract to understand all the fees and those growth limits we just talked about. At the end of the day, talking with a financial professional is really the only way to figure out if it's a good fit for your specific goals.
Okay, we've covered a ton of ground here. Let's boil it all down to the most important points to remember. If you only take away 3 things from all this, let it be these. First, the foundation of an FIA is principal protection from market losses. Second, they offer the potential for growth that's linked to an index but not directly in the market. And third, they have that powerful option to create a predictable lifetime income stream. Protection, growth, and income. And that really just leaves us with one final thought to chew on. As you look at your own financial picture, just ask yourself this. Is my plan only built for when the sun is shining and the seas are calm? Or is it also built with the kind of stability that can weather the inevitable storms ahead?